Well, we are tracking heat and humidity for Friday and the potential for severe storms Friday night into early Saturday. We'll take a look at where the best chances of seeing severe storms are and what happens after the passage of this weak cool front tonight. So we already had some ongoing showers and thunderstorms early this morning north of the Twin Cities. Some pretty severe wind gusts, too, in parts of far northern Minnesota, especially northwestern Minnesota. That was the initial round we talked about yesterday, potential northern or southerly track of those storms, and it did take the northerly track. And as I mentioned, we did have some severe wind gusts here. We'll put some of those up here and show you what we're looking at. If I can figure this out, let's go. Yeah, so there are some of the severe wind gust reports. We had 76 miles an hour in Crookston at 4:35 a.m., 55 miles an hour in Hendrum, Fargo, 53 miles an hour. There was also a wind gust earlier of 68 miles an hour that was picked up in Moorhead. Wind damage, trees down around Tamarack, and also the Floodwood area as those storms continued to track off to the east. So we are seeing the clouds try to break up here and clear out across portions of central and southern Minnesota. We should see some sunshine. It's not going to take a whole lot today to really make things pretty steamy out there. So be aware that it's going to be hot and humid. We're going to head into the afternoon with temperatures that are going to be probably right around 90 degrees heading into the afternoon hours. We'll put this on here, some of the heat indices for this afternoon. So about 100 degrees is what it will feel like in the Twin Cities here this afternoon, with an actual temperature of right around 90 degrees. But with dew points, these are going to be pretty soupy here. Maybe some of the highest dew points we've seen so far this summer. Potential for mid to maybe even upper 70s dew points just south of the Twin Cities and kind of along the Minnesota River Valley there. You can see forecast dew points of around 77 degrees potentially. Places like New Ulm or maybe even Northfield, potentially the southern suburbs even. So that will set the stage for some potential storms. So we could easily see some strong storms develop, and they'll have plenty of juice to deal with here. We've got that slight risk of severe weather for much of central and northern Minnesota, including the Twin Cities on really the southeastern edge of that yellow, that slight risk area. And some of those initial storms that developed this evening could produce maybe some isolated tornadoes. So we've got that brown circle area there. That's that slight risk of potential tornadic activity in that area. But mostly we're going to be looking at a damaging wind, large hail threat. We could see some bow echoes develop here ahead of this cool front that is going to be moving through here. So we'll take a look at the different models, see what's happening here. This is 8 o'clock with the high resolution rapid refresh model. You can see storms popping up in western Minnesota, not really looking particularly impressive. This is kind of messy looking, which would not bode well for many severe storms, but potentially some large hail in some of those storms, and then eventually some damaging wind gusts as it moves east. So this is midnight tonight, moving into Little Falls, Brainerd, just west of St. Cloud, up through Big Fork, and then moving into the west metro here. This would be 1 a.m. early Saturday morning, late tonight. Some strong storms up towards Aitkin, International Falls, and then those storms track east, Duluth. This is 2 a.m., moving up the North Shore. And looks like the worst storms move just north of the Twin Cities again, with some storms popping up here on the southern end. That's 4 a.m. in the Twin Cities. But the main idea here is that these storms are going to clear us by midday tomorrow. So southeastern Minnesota, storms still going through the morning hours, and then storms will kind of refire in southeastern Minnesota later in the day. So that's why the slight risk continues in far southeastern Minnesota into Wisconsin tomorrow. So that's the high-resolution rapid refresh model. The rapid refresh forecast system model, if you're keeping track at home, has those storms going already by 5-6 p.m. in the Red River Valley, and then tracking east, similar to the high-resolution rapid refresh model. Similar timing, too. This is midnight, but kind of breaking up those storms on the southern end with maybe some redevelopment. This is 3 a.m. into the Twin Cities, 3, 4, 5 a.m., and then again, those storms clear us and stay largely to the southeast with more storms developing. NAM model really handled these overnight storms pretty good. It was a little further south, but doing a little bit better with some of the coverage and intensity of some of those storms. So here's 9 o'clock with the NAM model, much further south, similar to what it did with last night's storm. So this is probably too far south when most of the models are going more central and northern Minnesota. But here's 11 p.m., midnight coming into the Twin Cities. This is a little earlier timing with the storms too. So anywhere from midnight to 4 a.m. is probably the window for the Twin Cities area. But this looks like a pretty good bow here, pretty good line of potential wind gusts there. We'll look at some of the wind gust swaths here, and yeah, it's producing some severe wind gusts in western Minnesota here, 8, 9, 10 p.m., St. Cloud area by 11, but kind of fizzling as it heads into the metro. Might see some strong higher end wind gusts, 50 to maybe 60 miles an hour in the Twin Cities here, right around that midnight 1 a.m. time frame, but generally stronger as we go west. If we put back on the high resolution rapid refresh model, you can see it keeps most of those strongest wind gusts western Minnesota initially, but then tracking north-northeast, similar to what this morning's storms did. We'll look at the European model here. Pretty similar here, 7 p.m. Storms in the Red River Valley, tracking east. Looking like kind of a bow there, too, moving into central Minnesota, St. Cloud to Brainerd. This is 11 p.m. Twin Cities by midnight, 1 a.m. So similar timing to the NAM, and actually looks very similar pattern-wise, too. Doesn't quite have the high resolution to put on some of these really high wind gusts, but you can kind of see generally what is going on here with those storm winds or not. That's the weak front kind of coming through here. So yeah, anywhere between midnight, 4 a.m. looks like optimal time for the Twin Cities for those potential storms. There is going to be plenty of severe weather parameters to watch here. Let me just put on the shear here from the NAM. The shear is going to be right behind or around that cold front as we get some pretty strong winds. The jet stream will be right overhead. So this is 11 p.m. into 2, 3 in the morning. So shear will increase across the state to help organize those storms. We'll also have plenty of energy during the day, but we're going to be capped. But look at the energy values here, the instability, the CAPE, convective available potential energy of 5,000 to 6,000 joules here across central and southern Minnesota. But the thing going against us for severe chances is that as we head into the late night, that activity kind of fizzles out. That energy really fizzles. So we can look at the most unstable CAPE. So this is not looking at surface-based energy, but what is the most unstable part of the column of the atmosphere to kind of see where those strong storms could continue. And so here's 10 p.m. This is the European model, 11 midnight. Really kind of same thing. The energy values fizzle out pretty quick. So eastern and southeastern Minnesota, chances are less of severe weather compared to western and northern Minnesota just due to the timing of this front. So hot, humid today, storms tonight into tomorrow morning. And then we're going to clear out and see a drop in some temperatures and dew points, it looks like here, as we head into Sunday, Monday. Not cool. We're not talking about the comfortable air we had last week. Still above normal temperatures. Normal high is about 82. We're going to be mid, maybe even upper 80s. But dew points will be in the 60s, sticky, versus these tropical near 70 or higher dew points that we're going to have today. So a little bit of improvement there. But yeah, the main thing today is that severe threat across much of central and northern Minnesota for tonight, primarily into early Saturday. Again, the main threats, large hail, some damaging wind gusts. We've already seen that with this first round of storms for northern Minnesota. So find a way to stay aware and get alerts, because it could come through 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Well, of course, many of us are sleeping, so you want to be able to have a way to get those alerts and warnings.